Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Season 6, Episode 24, overall Episode 299 of Live with CDP Sports Talk on this Wednesday, July 12th, 2023. Live with CDP Sports Talk is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or you guys can email the dealership at info@barrycullen.com as well. Good evening, everybody. I hope you're doing well on this July 12th, and I'm looking forward to my guest today. Before we bring on my guest today, Live with CDP is also on weeknights from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM in Metro Atlanta, the home of Southern talk in sports and the heartbeat of Atlanta. Thank you so much to Ryan O'Neill for having my show on his radio station as well. Anyways, guys, I hope everyone's doing well on this July 12th, 2023, Hump Day. Happy Hump Day. And I'm looking forward to my guest today. This is her third appearance on our show, and I'm looking forward to speaking to my friend, Shonna Brown, who's a singer, songwriter, model, recording artist, and an actress out of the Toronto area as well. So I'm going to bring on Shonna. Good evening, Shonna. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm keeping busy. And it's just hard to believe it's already July 12th.
Oh, I know. This year is going by so fast. I was just thinking about that before this interview. I'm going, feels like I could just talk to you, but no, it's been more than a year. So
yes, honestly, I looked at our previous shows. You were on in November 2021 when we had that awful pandemic I'd like to forget about. And then then you were on last year, one day after my 50th birthday, and then today, July 12th. But it just, time's flying. I find the older you get, in my case, time just speeds up.
Yes, true. Well, I am very excited to be on your 299th episode. I mean, that's my favorite number, 299. I'm going to love that.
Yes. Thank you so much. And I've been lucky to have a lot of great guests on my show. And recently I've had a lot of musicians from obviously Canada, the States, and I had a young lady from the UK on as well. And I'm branching out a little more from my sports talk. I love my sports talk, but this show now is becoming a sports talk and an entertainment show as well.
Well, I love that. I love that a lot. keeps me moving and grooving, right? Keeps me going.
Yes. And how are you doing right now, Shonna?
I'm good. I can't complain. I've been busy. I have a lot of things going on. The summer's here. There's lots going on in the summer. I've got my daughter and lots of things, lots of camps, and just working on new projects and really just taking it all in and enjoying it as much as I possibly can.
Absolutely. Which leads to our first question I was going to ask you, Shonna. Can you just tell tell our audience what are some of your latest projects you're working on, music wise, maybe something acting wise and modeling wise as well?
Yeah. Well, music wise, I've always sort of got something brewing. And lately I've been in the studio, and as you know, I've been working on my album. It's going to be called Love Frequency 528. That's the name of the album. It's not finished yet. I'm putting out each single separately, but I'm really excited about that. And really what the album is about, it's about energy, and every song is sort of about something related to that, whether it be healing, whether it be sharing energy. And the name Love Frequency 528 actually comes from that. What it is really is the frequency used in music, and it's been used to heal people. People in hospitals. They've made so many different things have happened and helped people with this frequency. And so I thought, what a cool way to bring all of the songs together and really explain everything around that topic. And so that kind of brought this whole album together for me. So that's, first of all, I've been working on that. I have a new single that's going to be coming out soon. It's called Reflection. We haven't set a date for that yet, but it should be coming out soon. I'm really proud of this song, actually. It's basically it's talking about feminism and how, a lot of the times women nowadays are thought of as basically having to do everything all at the same time, to go to work, to be a stay-at-home mom, to sort of juggle all of those things because we have the option now to do all those things. And we're really expected to do it all at one time. And what I'm trying to say in that song is that feminism should really be a choice. It should be a choice of what you want to do. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom, you can do that. If you want to go and work, you can do that. If you want to do both, you can do that. But really just giving you the choice and that being the main factor here. And there's one line in the song in my chorus where I say, feminism doesn't mean that she has to do it all. And that's kind of like the main line of the song. And so I'm really excited about this coming out. I promoted it a little bit. I did a little bit of a clip on National Women's Day so that people could kind of get a feel of it. And I thought it was a really great song for that. And I really just can't wait to share what I've been working on with the world. I'm really proud of this track.
Awesome. How many songs are going to be on this album? And also, I want to ask you this as well, as I'm an old guy being 51. What's your thoughts on the return of the vinyl albums? And would you like to get with some of your music put on a vinyl record as well?
Yes. Well, in terms of songs, the number of songs on the album, right now the plan is 10. But once I get through the album, it may be more or less depending on what I decide to keep or not. But at this point, the plan is definitely 10. And I think that is what will end up being on the album. Now, in terms of vinyl, I love vinyl. I think vinyl is awesome. I'm actually going to be printing my singles on vinyl as well, so people can have that option. I think it's a great format, and I think it is definitely back. I don't think it ever really left, but now there's a real big spotlight on it. And I think now it really is back, and I'm all about it. I think it's great.
Do you think the cassettes will come back at some point? And I remember the 8-track back in the 70s. I just find the older I get, more retro things are back in style again.
Well, I remember the 8-tracks when I was younger. I never really got into that. I was into the cassettes, of course.
Yes.
And when the CDs came out, I thought that was really awesome. But what I'll always love cassettes. And I think I'll always hold a special place in my heart for cassettes. And I miss that format of, even with CDs, being able to open it and look at the insert and have that feel once you've bought a new CD, and the way it smells, the way it looks, just everything about it. You look at the whole album, the whole insert. And I think that is something I miss. I can't really see tapes or CDs coming back. I don't know. For some reason, I think vinyl is where it's going to be. And I think that's where it's going to be at for a very long time.
I looked at a vinyl record today at the store in Storrow Mall, and it was Phil Collins' "No Jacket Required" back from the 80s. And I wish I'd kept that record back then, and a record player. They're not cheap, $59, $60. I think they're more pricier now than they were back in the 70s and 80s, back in the heydays.
Yeah. Are you talking about the vinyl itself or the record player? The record player?
The record itself.
Oh, the record itself. Yeah. Because it's just something you don't find very often nowadays, right? It's kind of like going back and maybe buying one of those vintage, authentic Nintendos that, we used to play back in the day. And it's like, now they're expensive because you can't find those anymore. They're hard to get. And I think it's the same thing with vinyl too. There's just something so authentic about it. I remember when I got my first record player as a kid. It was a Michael Jackson record player. And I was really young, and I used to talk to the record player. I thought Michael Jackson was actually in there. And I would have conversations with him. I'm like, "Oh, mommy, he just said "Oh, I love you," or, whatever he was saying on his record, he's talking to me. And that for a long time for me, I think forever will have a really special place in my heart. I think I'll always love it.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Mhm.
I did get a new vehicle back in January, and I love it. But I have to be honest, I miss having a CD player in my car because my old car had a CD player in it, and now all these new vehicles, there's no more CD players in it. So I guess because everything's all satellite radio and on Spotify and Apple Tunes and stuff like that. But I still have my CD collection, and I think I'm gonna hang on to it. I should have done that with my cassette player, my cassettes as well.
I know. It's true. I love the CDs too. Like if I can get in a vehicle with a CD player, I love that too because you can still have that authentic experience, of looking at the CD and all that. But yeah, everything has definitely changed when it comes to that part of it for sure, for sure. Mhm.
Well, if you ever do get a CD album, I would like to have one signed by you.
Oh, I would do that for you for sure. You'll be the first one to have it. I promise. I promise. I
Okay.
am looking at doing that, so it might be sooner than later. Hopefully,
Hey,
hopefully.
for my audience out there, and for some of them that don't know this, when you're doing an album, what is the time frame? I guess, like generally for an album.
It really depends. I know when I first did my first album when I was 18, it was kind of a rushed kind of situation where they were pushing me to get it done at a certain time. And it only took me, say, a few months or something to do an album. But really, the way I like to work is I like to do it song by song, and I like to take my time, and I like to really kind of sit with my work and make sure that it's still working for me. And I take a lot longer now than I used to. um I would say probably about every 2 to 3 months I like to have at least a single that I've completed, a new one, even if I don't release it, to have that finished. So really it's kind of hard to say. I'd say it could be anywhere from 3 months to 2 years, depending on how you decide to do it, what your inspiration is, all of that. It really just depends on your situation, I think. Mm.
How long is your average song? Are they generally normal between 3 and 4 minutes? Because there are some songs where they're 5 minutes, 6 or 7 or 8 minutes. But in your case, do you prefer like 3 to 4 minutes on average for songs?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think if you're going to put it, say, on the radio or any sort of broadcasting company to play it for you, they usually like it to be around 3 to 4 minutes because that's usually a good time for them to have to play. But, sometimes you get into those cool moods where you just kind of want to keep going and it's a long song. And of course, you got artists out there that have done really long songs, like The Doors, like 7 minute songs, that I
Or the
still love and I
Eagles?
think
Yeah.
they're great, right?
Or the Eagles or Ted Nugent. I think
Yeah, yeah,
Stranglehold's like 8 or 9 minutes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I really love those kind of songs. And I do some songs outside of the realm of the 3 4 minutes, which I feel proud of. But yeah, on the general though, I'll usually do 3 to 4 just so that I can kind of get the whole world involved if I need to. I don't limit myself when it comes to that. So. Mm,
All right, Shauna. Before we get to our next question,
mm,
I gotta ask you this so I don't get in trouble with Facebook and
oh,
YouTube for copyright. Do I
right.
have your permission to play your latest song, "Fresh Start" with
You
Chuck Blair?
absolutely do. Yes, of course you
And
can
this
play.
is and this is courtesy of your YouTube channel. Where
Mhm.
can my audience find you on YouTube to subscribe to your channel?
Yes. So you can find me at Shonna Brown. And you can find me Shonna Brown at all platforms. But if you want to find me on YouTube, that's the easiest way to do it. All of my videos are on there. Just follow me on there, Shonna Brown. And if
Okay.
you want to go on my website too, you can find there's links there to my videos and my songs and everything as well, which is shaunamusic.com.
And I assume your music's on iTunes and Spotify as well.
It is. It's on all streaming platforms. Yeah, and you can find it under Shauna. Generally, it's Shauna or Shauna Brown, but I would say Shauna is your easiest bet.
Okay, no problem. And right now, I'm just gonna play a clip of your song, and
Hmm.
just give me 1 second.
Sometimes in this life, you're forced to make a choice to continue on with the way things are or to make a fresh start. The world on a silver platter with my beating heart lying here on the floor. Oh, the world on a silver platter with my beating heart lying here on the floor. Oh, when you're so unsupported, everything is distorted, but so hard to ignore it. All I do is absorb it. Oh, I thought that we had it, holding on to the habit, pushing through all the habit, made me into a savage. Oh, you made it seem like my fault. You took it all for granted, but I was giving my all. But all the time it had to fall. You made it seem like my fault. You took it all for granted, but I was giving my all. But all the time it had to fall. Where my boys at? 'Cause I've been running this mother hard. When the teaks keep coming, we keep on taking it on. When the cell keeps ringing, they never pick up the phone. The enemy is close to home. I put the world on a silver platter with my beating heart lying here on the floor. Oh, I put the world on a silver platter with my beating heart lying here on the floor. Oh, you made it seem like my fault. You took it all for granted, but I was giving my all. But all the time it had to fall. You made it seem like my fault. You took it all for granted, but I was giving my all. But all the time it had to fall.
I thought we was, but then we wasn't. I thought we fixed it, but again it busted. The delusion of exclusiveness had me in this cuckoosness. What the fuck is this? So depressed, just can't handle this. Pressure on my chest, just can't breathe. I do this to myself. Get a grip, I should be at the top, not the bottom shelf. The rain upon the window disguise the tears coming from my eyes. But I ain't going to be crying no more. I'm just gonna spread my wings out in the skies I saw. And I ain't coming down, there ain't no feet on the ground, just the wind in the air that be taking me off to this great new place. This is my fresh start, fresh start.
You made it seem like my fault. You took it all for granted, but I was giving my all. But all the time it had to fall. You made it seem like my fault. You took it all for granted, but I was giving my all. But all the time it had to fall. You made it seem like my fault. You took it all for granted, but I was giving my all. But all the time it had to fall. You made it seem like my fault. You took it all for granted, but I was giving my all. But all the time it had to
I love you, Mommy. All right, that clip was courtesy of Shonna Brown's YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And that leads to my next question. I wanted to ask you, Shonna, what inspired the single Fresh Start featuring Choclair's cover, and what was it like working with him on this?
Yeah. Well, that song is really, really deeply personal to me. First off, I came out of a pretty toxic relationship, and I used a lot of that relationship to write this song. Also, not only was it that relationship, it was also basically saying that at any time in your life, and I think, Chris, you'll understand this, at any time in your life, you can change your path. There's no expiry date on that. There's never an expiry date for when you can change paths in your life. You can do whatever you want to do. If one day you're doing one thing and all of a sudden you decide, you know what, I want to be a photographer now, or I want to be an actor now, or a talk show host now, or whatever it may be. Knowing that there's any time in your life you can do that. There's no expiry date for that. And so that was kind of my way of showing that, yes, you can do that. And don't feel like you can't, because you can. I also sort of turned my back on the music industry for a while. I was having some bad experiences that I went through, and I kind of turned my back on it for a bit. And then later on, I said, you know what? I can pick right back up and do this again, and I can change my mind. And so this was really a song about that, saying, I'm going to embrace my fresh start. Every day is a chance at a fresh start. And so that's kind of where this whole idea came into play. And of course, Jacques Claire is a really good friend of mine, and he's been in the industry for a long time as well. And he was really, really popular in the late 90s. You know, he had a big hit, Let's Ride, Northern Touch. And he really put hip hop on the map. And after that came out, things kind of died down for a bit. And I feel like right now he's coming back again too. He's always been around, but the spotlight is coming back on him, and it's like his fresh start too. So it was a really great combination working with him on this song. Now, the cover of the song, actually, I've never talked about this with anyone yet. I have talked about my logo, but the actual cover, I was inspired by the Bionic Woman, actually. Are you familiar with the Bionic Woman?
Yes, yes.
You are? Okay.
Yes.
So Jamie Summers, of course, played by Lindsay Wagner. If people don't know that are watching, it's an American science fiction action adventure TV series. It came out in the late 70s. And Wagner stars as a professional tennis player who becomes critically injured during a skydiving accident. And her life is saved by Oscar Goldman and Rudy Wells with their bionic surgical implants. And so similar to those of the $6 Million Man, Steve Austin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lee Majors.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, I was inspired by that show. And so that's kind of where what I'm wearing comes from, with the rainbow tracksuit. And that whole thing there is basically inspired by that show. And I've never told anybody that yet. So you're the first one to hear. And it actually coincides with my logo. My logo, if you see the O on my logo, it's actually the labyrinth. It's actually the labyrinth. And really what the labyrinth is a journey to enlightenment is what it is actually. And so I feel like my whole music career is that. It represents that. You know, I'm going through all of these different experiences, sort of these parallels and crossroads, and, you know, going through all these different things to finally come to enlightenment and really finding the silver lining of everything I'm going through and sharing that with my listeners and trying to give them positivity and hope and love and encouragement. And so that really represents who I am as an artist, really. And so I decided to make that part of my logo, and I plan on having that as part of my logo from here on out. So that's where that all comes from.
And as for my logo, a friend of mine in Michigan who does celebrities, and I'm not a celebrity by any means, was kind enough to do one for me. And he didn't even ask for any money. And it's basically that digital cartoon drawing of myself. The microphone, and to this day, I've been using it for the last 3.5 years. And what I wanted to ask you, Shonna, is
Mm.
how important is it to have a strong logo where your audience can identify as well? Not just that your audience can identify with, but something that you like as well.
Well, I mean, I think when it comes to being an artist or doing what you love in general, every single part of it has meaning. And so I think a logo is a big deal. It should represent what you're trying to say. People should be able to pick it out of a crowd. It should stand out. And for me, it was sort of a no-brainer because I thought, well, you know what, this really makes sense for me, what I'm portraying here. And it fit in with everything I was doing, and it looked nice in my name, and it just worked perfectly. So I think it is important. I think you should have something that stands out. I think you should have something that you're proud of. At the end of the day, loving what you're doing and being proud of what you're doing is so important. I think it's the most important thing, actually. I really do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm revising my podcast shirts hopefully in the next few months. And you're going to be the first person I tell here tonight. But I am going to have my own live with CDP baseball jersey, and it's going to be coming out soon. And I'm going to see how it looks on me. I picked out the color, the design, and hopefully I'll be able to. I'll take a picture of it and wear it and send it to you. But it's going to be my own podcast radio show baseball jersey.
I love that. That is so awesome. Good for you. That is amazing. I love that. And I still have the shirt that you sent me, by the way, before from CDP
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
I'm very proud of it. So thank you for that. That was really awesome for you to send that to me. That's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. Yes.
And one thing I've learned too, being a small business owner and also a podcast radio host too, you have to you got to revise yourself sometimes, and your merchandise too. You got to switch things up once in a while. But as for my logo, like I said, I quite like my logo, and I'm quite happy with it. And I think people can identify it. And I think what you said there makes a lot of sense as well.
Absolutely. People want honesty. People want to know you. They want to know what you like. They want to feel your presence. They want to know who you are. And I think your logo is part of that. It really is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And when I'm talking to you, Shonna, I'm like talking to somebody at a coffee shop or at a sporting event. I've learned to do more ad-libbing now and
Mm.
just have natural conversations. I still
Mm.
write points down and prepare questions, but I just try to make my conversations with all my guests like natural conversations because it makes the show better as well. And sometimes you learn more about a guest as well.
It's true. And like they say, it's all in the sauce, like it's in between. That's the magic stuff, right? Like the magic is in between those questions and getting the real stuff in between there, right?
Absolutely. And
Mhm.
since we were talking about merchandise, I
Mm.
wanted to bring this up with you, Shonna. Can you tell my audience about your women's low cut sneakers and how did this come about? And how can my female audience purchase your sneakers? And just mention maybe possibly some of your other merchandise as well. And how did this process come about?
Absolutely. I came up with the idea of having my own merchandise line from the idea of Fresh Start. I picture a woman waking up in the morning and putting on her shoes and going, this is my chance today at a whole new fresh start. This day, today I can change anything. I can do anything. And so for that, I was playing around with the idea and I came up with, I put the logo on the shoe and it just made complete sense to me. And I was thinking, this is something I would wear actually. I've seen shoes with designs like this with comic designs on it that I've wanted to wear, but it was never exactly what I wanted. And so I thought, well, okay, if I can't find exactly what I want, well, then I'll make it myself and I'll make it. So I ended up making it. And of course I teamed up with the people that are making the shoe, of course. So thanks to them for being a part of that and making it happen. And it's out there right now. I have it on my shop. It's on my website, shonnamusic.com. You can find it on there. All you have to do is click on my website, click on shop, And there's several different things on there. I have signed posters. I have different kinds of shoes. I have the main shoe on there, of course, but another one with just, it's a little bit more simple with my logo. I have shirts with, of course, my logo on it, which is the labyrinth, of course. And those shirts are called Lost in the Labyrinth. And I have my little logo just inside there, really small. So if you don't want to have like a big logo on your shirt, but you still like it, you can wear that. And it's a unisex shirt for men and women in many different colors. I'm also really excited about these new ladies clutches that I just made, that I just got in for summer, and I have them right here, and I'd love to show them to you. If
Yeah,
you'd
go
like
ahead.
to see them.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
I've got a few here. So basically this clutch bag, as you can see right here, it's in vegan leather, and it's in the Saffiano pattern, which was invented by Prada. So I've teamed up with this company to make this bag. And of course, you see it has my Shonna logo on the front with the labyrinth there. But if you turn it over, it's plain as well. If you're just having one of those days where you don't want to be logo-y and you just want it to be plain, that works too. We've got it in white, black, and if you want, you can recommend another color if you want it. We have it in so many different colors, but what I have right now is white, black, and I also have it in a pearl, which I'll show you. So this is the design. Basically, it's a ton of labyrinths all squished together. And I call this a pearl clutch because it looks like there's pearls in the bag, but it's actually an illusion. It's the middle of the labyrinths all put together. So they're both on my website. They're actually selling for, the white bag is selling for $39.99. And this one is $49.99 because it has a bit more of a print on it. I'm very excited. It's actually designed with a loop handle. I don't know if you saw that, but so it's quick. So if you want to go hands-free, you can just gotta hold on here. It's made for the fashionista on the go, of course, and it can hold everyday essentials, your phone, your wallet, your keys. Basically, your essentials are all in there. So this is definitely something that I'm going to be using this summer because I don't like to be wearing huge, big bags all over the place. I like light, and it pretty much goes with everything. And also it has an internal pocket, as you can see here too. Awesome. I'm very, very happy about that. Yeah, so that's basically what I've been working on lately, and I'm excited about it. You can see a lot of other things I've been working on my website as well. And I'm just super stoked to have these products coming out. Very excited.
Since I got you on merchandise right now,
yeah.
And I'm still working on that for myself, have you thought about having some fresh start shirts and maybe in the future writing a book about your music career as well?
My goodness, yes. I actually do have some fresh start shirts in the works. You know, I was trying to make them a little bit different because I know, everybody, you could go and put the cover of, a single on a shirt, and that's great. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. And a lot of artists do that. But I was trying to make it a little bit more eclectic. But I have come up with some shirt designs that I think everybody will like. And so that is something I'll definitely be doing soon. And in terms of writing a book, well, I was just talking about this on our show last week. I think it was on The Blaze on the Fired Up Network. And we were asking each other, if you could write a book, what would you write it about? And of course, mine was the music industry, because there's so many things that go on in the music industry that not everybody knows about. It looks a lot different from the inside than it does on the outside. And I've had a lot of good and bad experiences. I've met a lot of interesting characters along the way, and I have some really amazing stories that I'd love to share. So it's definitely something I'm thinking about. And I do know a few people that have asked me if I wanted to write a book. So I'm talking to some people. We'll see. If I do, I'll definitely be coming on your show and talking about that, and I will send you a copy of it for sure.
Because like I said, one day I would like to write a book about my experiences from going from corporate security into the media industry, and just just changing careers. I've met so many wonderful people. I never thought I would get a chance to interview Jesse Barfield, John Olerud at the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, and it's just been an amazing experience. And one day I would like to share my change of career with everybody as well at some point.
Yeah. Well, that's why I really thought talking about this new single with you would be a great idea, because I really feel like you have started your own fresh start yourself by going into another career. And I think that takes so much courage, and it takes just so much understanding of yourself. And I'm proud to hear that there's people doing that. And I think that the Fresh Start shirt was made for you. So I'm going to send you one. How's that sound?
That's great. I'm a t-shirt guy, by the way. So I'm a t-shirt, hoodie guy, blue jean guy, whatever, hat guy. But yeah, and you know what? I admit I was ready for a fresh start. I was with corporate security for 23 plus years. And you know what? It did help me prepare for this career. And I don't think I would have been ready for it in my 20s. So I think things happen for a reason. And I think I was meant to do media radio work, in my opinion, and this is something I have a passion for. And I can tell how passionate you are about your career in music. And that's another thing I love about this show is storytelling and hearing from my guests and their stories as well, and sharing my stories.
Absolutely. Definitely. And you sent me a CDP podcast shirt, so I owe you a shirt. So you're getting one of those Fresh Start ones for me. There's no question.
All right. Well, thank you. You don't have to do that. I like doing nice
No,
things.
I want to do it because I not just because you sent me one, but also because I really feel like it is about you too. So I'm sending it. Okay. It's all good. No question.
Thank you. One thing too about the career, I've had a lot of people being supportive, but you do have to make some sacrifices. And financially, I've had to make a little bit of sacrifice. But you know what? I'm a lot happier now than I was a year ago, and it's just a matter of time before the money aspect of it comes in as well. And a lot of this I'm doing self-taught. I'm doing it the old school. I'm doing it the old school, the hard way of doing it. But I don't have any regrets at all the way I'm doing it. And I've just been so lucky to have so many people to come on my show the last 3.5 years, such as yourself.
Definitely. Well, I've been very happy to come on your show. It's been an honor for me. So, and I'm glad to see you on your 299th episode going on to your 300th. And I'm glad that I'm 299. So I'm very proud to be that.
Well,
I'm going to keep
so
watching
much.
you and cheering for you because you're doing an amazing job.
And I want to say thank you to WQEE 99.1 FM in Metro Atlanta for having me on their shows as well. So who would have thought 3.5 years ago my podcast would be listened to in 27 countries and being on a station in Georgia? It's just amazing. And it's just like I tell anyone else, passion and hard work equals success.
It's true. And you know what? It doesn't surprise me. I knew you were going to go far. I knew that.
Well, thank you so much. I'm still blocking out some naysayers and stuff like that, but you get that in any career change, and you just have to. And also too, you got to make sure you don't take rejections. I don't call them rejections. I call them setbacks. Don't take them personally, and just try to work upon about improving yourself and continue to grind away and improve and learn. That's another thing too, Shonna. I'm sure you know this in the music industry. There's always something new to learn about the industry every day.
Oh yeah, it's ever changing. I mean, right now as we speak, I'm sure there's something changing already. It's something you are always learning from. Always. It never gets boring. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The next question, I'm going to have to reward it. So I'm going to reward it. But
yeah.
Can you just, are you currently working on an album, and how many songs do you currently have on there? I think you mentioned before you're going to have probably 8 to 10 songs on your album.
Yes. The plan is to have 8 to 10 songs on the new album, which is going to be called Love Frequency 528. I'm working on the title track right now. I just finished it in the studio. I can't wait for it to be finished. And that's the plan. But I am releasing every single by itself separately, just so it can kind of have its time. And that's usually how it's done nowadays anyways. But I do have a previous album I did by my first record deal. I did an album called Deluge by Shonna Brown. And that's also available at Walmart and on Amazon as well. If you want to buy physical copies, there's actually physical CDs of it was the CD time when I first came out. So if you wanted to buy those two, they're both there as well. And can't wait to have the full album. I will definitely be putting it on vinyl, and I will definitely be sending you one signed as soon as I can. As soon as I get it, you'll be the first. That and your shirt.
Now, I don't know. I can't remember if I asked you this last year at this time, but do you have currently a manager or an agent that helps you with your deals and stuff like that? Or are you still doing it on your own?
I do have management. Yes. It's a bit complicated, but yeah, I do have management. I have several different people that I work with, but I also do work for myself too. I like to have a lot of creative control when it comes to making decisions about my music and about how it's marketed and about how I'm presenting myself, my image, all of that stuff. So I am very careful about how I involve other people in what I'm doing. At the end of the day, I always have to have the end say about what is going to happen. I don't like to be swayed in any direction that doesn't feel comfortable to me. But I do have several people I'm working with, yes. And I am on Miken Records right now. We are with Sony ATV. So I'm a Sony artist, but I'm under Miken as well. It's under the umbrella of Sony. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. But I think also too, you need to have other people to give their input, to help you. It's good to have other people helping you because you really can't do everything on your own. And I also like to learn from other people and to have relationships with the people that I'm working with, because that is really important to me. And that's one of the most important things in this industry for me, is to have those relationships. And, I have those stories to tell in my book now of these relationships that I have, and it's important to me. So that's a big part for me, big part.
One thing I've learned about the media industry, and I'm sure it applies to the music industry as well, is connections and connecting with people as well, and just making those connections are huge in any career, especially.
Yes, they are. Those connections, those relationships, not only are they important, but they actually bring meaning to what you're doing. Like it's all in the creating. That's where all the magic is. Once you reach what you're trying to reach, it's like those connections you have with people. Those are the things that you remember the most. You don't necessarily remember the end result. You remember getting there and the process and the people.
The journey. Yeah.
Yeah. The journey is where it's all at. Yeah. Journey is where it's all at.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you okay for a few more minutes? A couple more questions?
Yeah, actually.
You sure?
Yeah. Can you just wait 1 second for me? Just
that's fine.
I'll
Yeah,
be right
no
back.
worries.
Okay,
Yeah, no worries. Yep. All right, guys. My guest is just stepping out for about 30 seconds. So Shonna Brown will be back. And we're going to finish up our podcast show. I want to say thank you to Shonna Brown for coming on my show for the third time, season 6, episode 24, episode 299. And since I've got a minute here, episode number 300, season 6, episode 25, special edition number 300 will be tomorrow, live with CDP Sports Talk, tomorrow, Thursday, July 13th at 1 p.m. with my guest, Daniel DeGraw, who is with Cable 14 and Hamilton. So I look forward to speaking to Danielle for episode 300 as well. That's another thing I've learned, Shonna, too, is when guests sometimes have to take a little bit of a break or whatever for dogs or kids or whatever, I just learned to keep talking and keep going on.
Yes, definitely. Well, my daughter just needed me for a second, so I had to pop up for a second. But thank you for being so understanding. I really appreciate that. And I'm always happy to be on your show. So
absolutely. And being a parent, I don't have kids myself, but I was a Big Brother volunteer for 16 years and dealt with a lot of single moms. And I realize being a parent is a full-time job itself. And I sometimes don't understand how people can have full-time careers and then raise kids, because being a parent, it's 24/7.
Oh, it really is. I mean, it's like three jobs. It's like three jobs in one that never really stops. You know, you don't really get a break. So it's tough. And I think one of the reasons why I wrote that song Reflection had to do with that too. It's kind of like all the things that women are expected to do. And, I just think that we need to be strong in the fact that we choose what we want to do, and we don't have to feel pressure to do everything all the time. We can choose what we want to do, and there's a lot of pressure there, so that was kind of what that song was about. But I love being a mother. It's one of the most rewarding things in the world. And actually, I don't know if you heard, but at the end of Fresh Start, my daughter was in there at the end. She said, "I love you, Mommy."
Yes, I thought that was that your idea to put that in, because I thought that was a nice touch.
It was. I'm wanting to bring her into the studio with me, and that was kind of my way of easing her in. She's actually an amazing singer as well. She is so good at her age. She has perfect tuning. I can just totally see her doing this. So I'm kind of easing her in and waiting for her to say, "Mommy, I want to be in a song," and just waiting for that day. And then it'll happen. She's an amazing, amazing girl. She really is.
Was there? I don't think I've asked you this before, but was there anybody else in your family that had musical talent, and that's where you maybe picked up some of your music talent from, or?
Oh my goodness! Well, my mother, she was a singer. She was always singing. I remember from a very young age hearing her sing. She would sing in church. She would sing at different festivals. She was amazing. And also my dad was also a singer too. And he was more of a writer, actually. I found out later on in my life that I found a book of his of writing, and he had all these songs written. And I was like, "Dad, these are yours?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "How come you never told me?" And he's like, "Oh, whatever." But I really got a lot of influence from the both of them that way. They both were in bands in high school. They both, they were just the cool cats. And I feel like I got a lot of it from them, and they always were supportive of me. I feel like my mom, in a way, continued her singing dream a bit through me in terms of putting me into all these festivals and singing lessons and all of that. But she managed to keep singing. She was a nurse at the nursing home where I was from in Wolfville, and she would always sing at nursing homes with her friends, with her guitar. She always kept doing that. It was always part of her life. And I really feel like that is where a lot of this came from. Definitely.
Absolutely. And who else were some of your influences in the music industry, both female and male artists?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. There's so many amazing artists out there. I've taken a lot of influence. I think I told you before, I took a lot of influence from Madonna. She influenced a lot of female artists in the music industry. She really just pounded down a lot of doors and changed a lot of things for women in the industry. There's a few more that I haven't really talked to you about. I really am a big fan and was a big fan of Tori Amos growing up. She's more of an underground artist. I'm not sure if you are familiar with her, but she's an amazing, amazing lady. She's so great. Bjork has always influenced me. She's always been a little bit more edgier, a little bit more artistic, just a little bit more underground, which I liked a lot. There's just so many amazing talent out there. It's really hard to pin it down to a few, but those are a few of the female artists that really inspired me. There's a lot of male artists out there too that have inspired me too. Like everybody from Michael Jackson,
Yes.
He's been an influence. He's influenced so many artists. The things he was doing in the beginning of his career, people are still using it. They're still using the ideas that he was using at that time. Way, way before his time. He was way ahead of his time, for sure.
I see. You might disagree with me on this, but I see so many similarities between Michael Jackson's career and Elvis Presley. Both of them were ahead of their times.
Yes. Oh, for sure they were. Elvis, oh my goodness, Elvis was amazing. Like, if you see his life story and what he did, and the rules he was breaking and the things he was doing at his age and in that time, amazing. And a lot of the same dynamics were happening too. on the negative side, like, you know, they were getting taken advantage of a lot by the people around them, and we're dealing with a lot of personal issues too, you know, but still managed to create all this amazing work for us that's still amazing today.
And unfortunately, both of them died way too young.
Yes, I agree.
Same with Whitney Houston too. Another legend in the industry.
Yeah. Well, I've said this to people before. There's nobody going to be as better than Whitney Houston vocally as a female. There's just no. It's just, I mean, if I could pick one female artist that I think is the best, it would definitely be Whitney for sure. You know, I look at a lot of artists that have taken from Whitney, and I think that they're great too. You know, like I see like Mariah Carey, she's timeless. She's got a great voice. But there's a lot of people that have followed her footsteps, but it's just, there's only one Whitney. You know, she just was the best of the best.
Absolutely. And before we wrap this up, Shonna, what's the best concert you've ever been to? I still haven't been to a concert yet because of the pandemic, so I'm hoping eventually one day I'll get to my first concert.
You know, I've been to quite a few different concerts. I'd have to say this. It was a smaller event. It was still quite big, but it was on the smaller end of things. I'd say when I saw Tori Amos live in Toronto, and I had been a fan of hers for so many years, and seeing her in that environment was just such an amazing moment for me. It was just, I felt so close. Like, it was such a smaller venue that it was close to her. And I think that would probably be my favorite to date. It was just so awesome. I would have loved to have seen Bjork when she came here. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to, but if she came back, that would probably be another one that I'd be really, really excited about too. Yeah.
You prefer indoor concerts or outdoor concerts?
You know, I enjoy both. They both have something amazing to them. But there really is something about a smaller venue and that connection that you feel with the artist as they're performing. Because sometimes when people are performing outside, and if it's a very large audience, there's kind of like a disconnect there a little bit. It's a different kind of energy, not necessarily bad. It's just a different kind of energy. I love both, but with the people that I truly love, like really love, like would want to sing with on stage, I like the small venues because I can almost like feel like I'm there with them, kind of thing. So I'd say that for sure.
All right. And we're going to wrap this up. I just wanted to plug your podcast shows. You got a couple shows. I'll obviously one Blaze and also Talk with Shonna. Can you just tell my audience a little bit about both of your shows, what you love about them, and where my audience can find them and subscribe to your shows?
Yeah. Well, I love doing my Talk with Shonna show because I get to talk with different artists. It's predominantly a music show. And at the beginning of my show, I actually have one of my songs, Turn Up the Microphone. I have a clip of Turn Up the Microphone in the beginning, and I play it at the end. And it's something I'd like people to remember me, remember that about me, that's part of my show. I love doing the show. It's on the Fired Up Network. And what I usually do is I'll do a show. I try to do one every week or every 2 weeks. And it usually airs either on Thursday or Friday. We'll either do Fired Up Live on Thursday, or we'll do Femme Friday. So it'll be either one of those 2 days. And I usually post it. And I also will put my episodes on YouTube as well. So if you missed it, or if you want to see it on YouTube, or it's just you don't have time and you have to do it another time, you can go there. But what we do is we have our episodes, they air on several channels. We have the Viva Live TV, and we're on channel 38 on that channel. So we're running our show is running constantly 24/7. So you'll see my show come up, and then other people from the Fired Up Network are there constantly, as well as Memento and Fox. The Fox Network will have our shows air on there sometimes as well. And also I'm on The Blaze, which is the Fired Up Network, and that airs on the Viva Live TV as well as Memento as well. And of course we have online stuff too. So if you want to follow us and see our shows on Twitter or on Facebook, we're pretty much on all the streaming platforms. You'll see our show on there. And it's a great time. I really do love being a part of the network. It's a lot of fun.
I watched one of your shows last night, Talk with Shonna, with this gentleman that used to be a musician and now he's into basketball. And I thought your show was great, and you do really a good job of what you do, Shonna. I think you know how to connect with your guests, and you just have good chemistry with your guests, and you know how to connect with your guests.
Oh, thank you. Well, I definitely have no problem connecting with you. That's for sure. This is my 3rd episode with you. I'm honored to be on your show, and you are definitely amazing in what you do too. And I can see that you connect coming on your 300th episode. I mean, that speaks for itself right there, how great you're doing. And I'm proud of you. And yes, I did have him on the show. There's going to be a 3x3 basketball tournament.
Yeah. If you want to talk to my audience about that. Yep.
Yeah. The Wentworth 3x3. It's going to be in Hamilton, and it's on, I believe, July the 28th. Or 29th. I should have written that down. I know, but it's on one of those days anyway. I'm going to be doing the national anthem actually, so I'm really excited.
Congratulations!
Thank you. And so I'm going to be doing that on there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm just really happy to be a part of this whole organization and what they're doing. And I think it's just going to be really great.
Are you going to save a clip of that so I can hear you perform "O Canada"?
Absolutely, I will. I will for sure. I will definitely have someone filming that. There's going to be a lot of people covering that. CHCH will be covering it. There's a lot of other news and podcasters that will be covering that as well. And of course, I'll be getting someone to do a home video for me too. So if I need to share a clip here or there, I'll definitely be doing that.
All right. We're going to wrap this up shortly. But since I have you on here, Shonna, what have been some of your most memorable? I worded it most memorable, not favorite, so you don't have to be put on the spot. Most memorable episodes you've done so far, and some of your most memorable guests you've had on your show so far.
Most memorable episodes. Now, is this for Talk with Shonna or The Blaze?
Or both, or either one. Both? Yeah.
Okay. I had a lot of fun we had a St. Patrick's Day episode of The Blaze. And for some reason, I was in the kind of mood like you probably would have thought I would have had like 5 green beers before the show. Like I was just in a really, really good mood. And it was a fun show because we dressed up and we were just making a lot of jokes. I don't know. I was making jokes about everything you could possibly think of, but I think potatoes were in there, and there's just, I don't know, a lot of things in there. I think that was probably one of my favorite shows. I had the best time on that episode. I had like a green hat on and like the whole thing. It was good. That was probably my favorite for that. For Talk with Shonna, I've had so many amazing guests on the show. I think really having Chaclair on the show was a great one, actually. Just because he has done a lot of things. He has put hip hop on the map. He's done a lot of things, and he's done a lot of things for me. So I think having him on the show and him talking about a lot of his experiences was a great and memorable one for me, for sure, too. And him being a good friend.
Absolutely.
I have to have you on my show.
I've actually been on 4 or 5 podcast shows now, and I'm like, wow, I'm so used to being the host. It's a little bit of a different role when you're the guest.
It is. It definitely is. But I think you do great. We just talk like we normally do.
Yeah. And that's the best way of having your show, is just have a natural conversation and stuff like that as well.
Exactly. Because that's the real deal. That's what everybody wants to talk about and everyone wants to see, right? So There it
And
is.
and speaking of that, I got to plug my Toronto Argonauts Twitter Space Live audio show tonight at 9 o'clock on my Twitter page. Myself and my co-host do this weekly about the Toronto Argonauts, and we have people listen to our show and call in as well. It's called the Argo Bounce Live Audio Show on Twitter Spaces at Christy Palme tonight at 9 p.m. with my co-host Nick Small.
Awesome. Actually, I'm going to redeem myself for the date there on the Wentworth 3 versus 3 basketball.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the 29th of July. So it's the 29th will be the day that I'm doing the national anthem, and the 30th. So it's both days from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that's at 1199 Upper Wentworth Street, Hamilton, Ontario. And I'd really love to see all of you there.
Do they have a website too?
They do. The website, actually, no, I don't see a website here. I do see a Gmail account, though, where you can contact them. They're looking for sponsors, they're looking for vendors, and all of those things. Also, the winners of the 3x3, they end up winning $10,000, which is awesome. So I'll give you the Gmail account. It's wentworthdistrict@gmail.com. And if you contact them, you can get involved. And also, the phone number is 365-833-5625. And you can follow them on Instagram at WD3 versus 3. So I'll be there singing the national anthem on the 29th.
Okay, perfectly. And what are some fun facts about yourself, Shonna, that people might not know about you?
Well, I'm pretty quirky. I'm a quirky kind of person, but that might be kind of obvious, though. I don't know. But I'm one of those people that likes to have interesting projects going on all the time, whether it be music. I mean, music is a given, but like, for instance, I have a shoot coming up for my handbags. And I have this crazy idea of something I want to put in the shoot for the marketing campaign. And I'm trying to find something for it, and it's like impossible to find. And so I always I'm on this mission to create something that's almost impossible, but trying to make it happen. So that's kind of one of those things that one of the factors about me is I like to achieve things that aren't necessarily easy to accomplish. It's kind of one of my things. But I'm a really kind person. I'm really empathetic. I mean, I'm the type of person that if I was at a hospital and I saw someone crying and I didn't even know why, I would go up to them and I would say, "What's going on? How can I help you? It's going to be okay." Like I try to be that type of person in every aspect of my life, because I think we all need people like that. We need more people like that. I think another thing about myself that people wouldn't necessarily know is I can be a bit critical of myself. I push myself to certain limits. But I never lose confidence in myself, though. But I do push myself hard. I try to get better every day. I really do.
I can relate to you about that. I'm constantly a perfectionist, and I can be critical as well. So
I think my daughter just saw a bug on our ceiling.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to have to go and kill that bug. I'm going to have to get rid of it. It's not a bug? What is it? Oh, okay. I'll get it. Don't worry.
No worries. I was gonna wrap up the show anyways, okay. Shonna.
Yeah. Okay.
No worries. Tell your daughter I'm sorry I kept you over an hour, but it flew by talking to you. So
that's okay. That's okay.
To wrap it up, where can my audience follow you on social media, your website, and just quick advice for those looking to pursue a career in the music industry? And I did put on your Linktree website as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You can contact me. Well, first of all, the first place you can go is my website, shonnamusic.com. You can find links to everything I'm doing on there. You can follow me on Instagram at Shonna Brown Music 111. Shonna Brown pretty much all across the board on any of the sites that are there. And I would just say, if you're a musician, don't take no for an answer. Keep having faith in yourself. Keep getting up every day and keep standing up to the plate and keep getting up when you get knocked down. And one of those days, you're going to stand up and you're going to stay standing, and it's going to be worth it in the end. That's what I say.
Great advice. And again, I want to say thank you so much, Shonna, for coming on here tonight. Season 6, episode 24, $2.99 overall. And I really enjoyed talking to you, and looking forward to seeing more of your new music and also your merchandise as well. And I just want to wish you continued success. And if you ever want me to come on your show as a guest, I would be quite honored as well.
Yes, I would love that. And thank you so much for having me, my friend. And I look forward to it. Tomorrow's 300 for you, the episode.
Yeah, 1 o'clock tomorrow. 1 o'clock tomorrow. Her name is Danielle DeGraw. She's from Cable 14 in Hamilton. And I'm looking forward to speaking to her. So, Shonna, I want to say thank you so much for coming on tonight, and continued success. And we'll definitely keep in touch with you on social media.
Amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, Shonna.
You too. Take care, my friend.
Okay. You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed season 6, episode 24, overall $2.99 tonight here on Wednesday, July 12th, 2023, with Shonna Brown, who's a singer, songwriter, producer, model, and actress out of the Toronto area as well. And guys, just to let you know, I have another show tonight called the Argo Bounce live audio show on Twitter Spaces at Christy Palme tonight, Wednesday, July 12th at 9 p.m. Eastern, with my co-host Nick Small. And we both talk about the Toronto Argonauts Football Club, the 2023 season, and the CFL, and preview their upcoming game against Montreal tonight. So tune in to my Twitter Spaces page at Christy Palme at 9 o'clock tonight for the Argo Bounce live audio show as well. And I'm really looking forward to it. And again, guys, the 300th episode of the Live with CDP Sports Talk, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet, tomorrow, number 300, Thursday, July 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern, with my special guest, Daniela DeGraw. She works for Cable 14 Television in Hamilton, covering their local sports team. She's been a reporter, an anchor, and she's covered such major events as the Grey Cup as well. So I'm really looking forward to having Daniel DeGraw coming on my 300th episode tomorrow. That'll be 1 o'clock Eastern, live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Sorry again. And I want to say thank you to everybody watching the show live streamed again on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter as well. CFL this week, guys, on TSN. Thursday, we got Hamilton at Edmonton. Friday, Toronto at Montreal. Saturday, Winnipeg at Ottawa. And Saturday night, a doubleheader, Calgary at Saskatchewan as well. Just bear with me, guys. I've got so many graphics on here. As always, Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment talk show hosted by yours truly, Chris Palme, is always on weeknights at 8 p.m. Eastern on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk, the heartbeat of Atlanta. Occasionally, my show is preempted by Columbus Chattahoochee baseball as well. And when that does happen, I will let you guys know as well. The radio station website, guys, if you want to listen to Live with CDP Sports Talk weekends at 8, or the other shows, they have a lot of great radio shows on WQEE FM 99.1 FM. You can check out their website at wqeefm.radio12345.com as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk is always live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. Thank you to everybody for watching this live stream tonight as well. My website, if you guys want to check out all my content and previous podcast and radio episodes, is beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. Live with CDP Sports Talk, again, is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or you can give them a call at 519-824-0210 or email the dealership at info@barrycullen.com. Speaking of Barry Cullen Chevrolet, Summer Adventures event is going on at Barry Cullen Chevrolet right now with the 2023 Equinox and Blazer RS. 4.49% financing for up to 60 months. More details available at Barry Cullen Chevrolet or barrycullen.com as well. Live with CDP is on TikTok. If you want to check out my video content there, check out Live with CDP on TikTok as well. And I post some of my coaches and player interviews on my TikTok page as well. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports Talk. If you're into webinars or podcasting such as myself, check out StreamYard.com as well. And finally, guys, Live with CDP Sports Talk, the audio version is available on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Stitcher, and Tuned In. And again, weeknights at 8 p.m. on WQEE 99.1 FM. We're not preempted by Columbus Huda Chats baseball as well. Also, you can email me or text Live with CDP Sports Talk at cpame19@gmail.com, or you can text me, text the show at 519-820-7188 as well. Again, I want to say thank you to my guest, Shonna Brown, a singer, songwriter, producer, model, actress, for coming on here today. And again, episode 300 of Live with CDP Sports Talk is tomorrow, July 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern, with my guest, Danielle DeGraw. She works for Cable 14 Television in Hamilton, Ontario, covering local sports there. So I'm looking forward to speaking to Danielle and her career in broadcasting and media. And I want to say thank you to everyone who has watched or listened to Live with CDP Sports Talk the last 3.5 years. I really appreciate it. And I want to say thank you to all my wonderful guests that I've had on my show. There are so many of them, I can't name them, but I will name some of them. But I've had guests on such as the Philly Fanatic, Jim Jackson, the voice of the Philadelphia Flyers, Dan Schumann, the voice of ESPN and the Blue Jays on Sportsnet, Jerry Howarth, the legendary Blue Jays radio broadcaster, Tommy Edwards, Sal Capaccio from the Bills, Christine Lisi from ESPN, the Philly sports guy who's one of the first guys to believe in my work. Thank you, Philly sports guy Jamie Pegley, Pat Gregor, who's come on my show 7 times from Quebec, Canada, and the TSN National Lacrosse League Game of the Week, and one of my first supporters of my podcast show 3.5 years ago. Thanks to Pat Gregor. And also to Aaron Sanders, who's been on my show 6 times. He is the voice of the Windsor Express of the National Basketball League of Canada. And Aaron does a great job as a PA announcer and a broadcaster. And I consider Aaron a friend as well. So thank you to those people and all my guests for coming on the last 3.5 years. And thank you to Ryan O'Neill from WQEE 99.1 FM for giving me an opportunity on your radio station 6 months ago. And thank you to Mark Cullen, the president and the son of the founder of Barry Cullen, Mark Cullen from Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership, for sponsoring Live with CDP Sports Talk as well. That's about it, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow at 1 o'clock for the next edition of Live with CDP Sports Talk, episode number 300, with my guest, Danielle DeGrom from Cable 14 in Hamilton. And hopefully some of you guys can tune into my Twitter page at 9 o'clock Eastern tonight for the Argo Bounce live audio show with my co-host Nick Small and myself, talking Argonauts football and previewing their matchup with the Montreal Alouettes this Friday night, 7:30 in Montreal. Have a good night, everybody, and thanks for watching and listening to Live with CDP Sports Talk.